Ahoy hoy, and welcome to day 8 of 30 videos in 30 days. I actually managed to find my tripod. Let's see how well this works for us. It was, of course, in the clearest, most obvious place where I should have put it, which is exactly why I never looked there. So today, I want to talk about the haircut problem, because it's something that I actually find holds me back a tremendous amount on a lot of issues and concerns that I really should address, but I just don't bring up. So the haircut problem's remarkably straightforward. When you go out and you get a haircut, it gives you that nice pleasant feeling. You know, you like that little bit of change. It's a nice thing. And you really want someone to notice it, and you really want someone to comment on it, and they don't. And then it just gets kind of discouraging because, you know, you can feel this great big change about yourself. You can tell that something is different, and you just want someone to notice it, and you just want someone to be aware. So there's a couple things you can do. You can, of course, disregard the fact that it's been disregarded, or you can bring it up. Sometimes subtly, sometimes less so. Hey, didn't you notice my hair? It's awesome now. I mean, it was awesome before, but it's even more awesome now because I cut it. Well, not me, but someone who's actually talented at that sort of thing. If I did it, it'd be a hack and slash, and it would clearly be much more noticeable. But still, do you notice how awesome it looks now? And I don't know about you, but that sort of thing, for me, always just feels so desperate. So, notice me. So, see me, basically. And then when people do finally pay attention, they're like, oh yeah. No, I can see it now. That's really awesome. Which is great that they see it and they acknowledge it and that it's awesome. But the fact that you had to bring it up kind of stings a bit. You just like to think that people notice stuff. Particularly when you're someone who already doesn't feel noticed, or you feel overlooked, or you feel like, you know, you're just not acknowledged a lot, like you just fade into the background. And a lot of people deal with that. And I'm sure all of us deal with it at some point or another. One thing that I personally have discovered a lot about myself, at least with a lot of conflicts that I have, or conflicts that could be easily resolved, is I never address them. I never bring them up. I just stew. I just let it sit and be a difficult thing. Because, on the one hand, it's a lot easier to just kind of sit and stew on it than actually confront something and possibly put yourself at risk of someone not being happy with you, or worse, being angry at you for bringing something up or making them feel a little awkward and out of place. Let's see if I can adjust that ever so slightly. I buggered it up. Now I'm screwing it up even more. We'll fix this better next time. Anyway, first time with tripod in a bit. Anyway. And again, it just kind of reinforces that sense of nobody notices, nobody cares, nobody affirms, nobody acknowledges. But I don't bring out a lot of stuff because I'm genuinely concerned about how it will be responded to. There's at least one particular thing that I've failed to address over time that is largely just based on the fact that I have a good idea of what the reaction will be, and I know it will upset the other person, so I keep it quiet. Just one of those things. And that, it's not healthy, for one. It's just not a good idea. But with that, there's also the reality that there's a certain arrogance to it that should be addressed. it's not just so much a question of our perspective about what people should and shouldn't notice. It's tremendously about the fact that we assume, usually unconsciously, that everyone else sees the same things that we see, that everyone else observes the same things that we observe. On a daily basis, I have people point out things that I just plain wasn't aware of because it isn't in areas that have impacted my life by any stretch. Just like with triggers, different people are going to have different things that resonate because different people have had different experiences. But we always seem to kind of presume that other people see the same way that we do. And hi.
Giving her a pep talk.
Exactly. Beautiful dog. Really is a nice dog. One of these days I'll actually get to the point where I walk far enough to not necessarily have these kind of distractions, but you know what? It's kind of nice. Decent fella. Here, let's give you a nice little swoop back there. See, pretty dog. It's these little touches, I think, make these videos a little bit more personable. Anyway, we come along with the perspective that everyone sees things from the same way that we do, and then we get angry at them for not seeing the same shit that we see, even though we have absolutely no idea what draws their perspective. So, if there's anything that I would like you to take away from this, it is to recognize the haircut problem. Recognize that, there's a lot of things that we do that we expect people are going to notice that they're not going to notice. Acknowledge the fact that it's really hard to bring it up when we want it to be noticed because that really does feel like begging for attention. But also keeping in mind and understanding that as much as we like to think so, everybody views things through different eyes. And when we presume upon them to see what we see, when we presume on them to expect them to experience the same thing that we expect, we actually put them in a really difficult position that they have absolutely zero control over. Which kind of sucks. It's just one more step in trying to be a better overall individual. It's one more step in trying to understand our place in things and how we should treat other people and how we will oftentimes just ascribe to them things that we have no real right to ascribe to because we just don't understand. So I realize this was a little bit disjointed, but I think these are getting better as I do them. I think this is considerably less challenging than the last time, and I think by the end of the month these will be really spot on. I do appreciate the folks who are taking time to watch them. Every day is kind of a new adventure. I'll try and get a little bit more humor thrown in here and again, but thank you for the support. It's what I'm currently doing, and it's nice. It's nice to have the consistency. By the way, I haven't had a haircut. Actually, it's growing out very nicely with all sorts of split ends, but God, is it gorgeous. Rawr. Have a good afternoon, my friends.